Yo, check it out, I gotta speak the truth about the hardest working small channel in the crypto booth. He's the crypto father, the one and only.
150,000, 280,000, $500,000, $1 million. All of these are predictions made by people on social media outlets, on X, on YouTube. Everybody's talking about mass predictions for Bitcoin, but where will it actually go? Nobody really knows, and there's a lot of arguments about whether the 4-year cycle is still present or not, and whether that influences the price of Bitcoin and how it's going to influence it in the future. All of that coming up today on the Crypto Father channel. Today is the 12th of December. Make sure to smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the very end so you don't miss any of the goodies coming your way. I think one of the best, if not the best example of discrepancy in understanding where Bitcoin prices go from here on out is this video by Carl the Moon. There's a video of Carl, and I forget this dude's name, but he used to be a trader on Crypto Banter. Not sure why he's on here. I guess maybe he's just a guest speaker and the host. And all three of them have different ideas. Basically, Carl the Moon is a hypester. He thinks Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million and probably more. If somebody was out there telling him that Bitcoin would go to a higher price tag than $1 million, he'd be in on it. Jake the Drake, I don't know his name, trader, he remains rather conservative. He started off with saying that it wouldn't even hit, Bitcoin wouldn't even hit 200,000, but at a cross-eyed look from Carl, he changed his tune to about 200, maybe 250, maybe 280. So basically, the price ranges are ridiculously broad between these guys. And I'm going to say that Sheldon, his name is Sheldon, I had to look it up. So Sheldon was very rather conservative. He was saying, you know, anywhere between 150. But I'm going to go with what Sheldon's saying because he's been, well, he's a trader. So he's been trading a lot more. I think Carl the Moon got lucky. And, you know, it's kind of painful to say you got lucky. But basically, Carl the Moon is a guy who got in early. And bought a bunch of Bitcoin on the advice of Da Vinci, Jerome, who said that you should buy a bunch of Bitcoin early. And Carl the Moon is kind of a questionable character. Not really, the stash is not really favoring him, the pimpish look. Anyway, aside the point, I think Sheldon is a bit more accurate in the prediction that Bitcoin may go to 150, maybe over 200. Of course, nobody knows, but this is my feeling. Initially, when I was looking at the charts, I was thinking that Bitcoin might hit 200, somewhere like $280,000, $250,000. So it would probably be within this vicinity here. Now, and this was based off the predictions that were made by Plan B in his charts. And I was looking at around that idea. But I mean, none of the predictions are accurate, and I think that looking at $1 million Bitcoin is a bit outlandish. I mean, that's like a huge push. B Stuck to Flow model predicts that Bitcoin will hit at least $500,000, and with the possibility of it breaking above the indicated lines here, the dotted line, in most cases Bitcoin breaks above that, so we probably would be looking somewhere around the vicinity, according to his chart here, at a Bitcoin of about $600,000. The predictions and the price tags for Bitcoin are all over the place, and nobody really knows what's happening. The one thing that is true is that the adoption for Bitcoin is and cryptocurrencies in general is certainly taking a turn. News BTC has released an article here. Bitcoin CME chart shows striking similarities to 2023. Here's what to expect. And so when that article talks about 2023, they're talking about this and looking at the Bollinger Bands, basically stating that Bollinger Bands are a unique technical analysis tool for identifying sharp short-term price movements and potential entry and exit points. Looking at Severa's Bitcoin CME chart, the price is riding the upper Bollinger Band for both years, suggesting a strong bullish trend. Basically, looking at this scenario here, in 2023, Bitcoin was running up along the Bollinger Bands, but you have to keep in mind that the Bollinger Bands is a delayed signal. So this is what appears after the price movements are complete. It's not a forecasting feature. It just gives you an idea of the possible moves of Bitcoin. So right now Bitcoin is kind of driving along the crest, the upper crest of the Bollinger Bands on the weekly, that is, and so Bollinger Bands are opening up. But I mean, if there was a massive sale and a dip in the candles, the Bollinger Bands would adjust accordingly. They wouldn't be predicting what's forthcoming for Bitcoin. They would be adjusting to what has happened to Bitcoin. But so for now, on the weekly, the Bollinger Bands are expanding, and Bitcoin is indeed running along the upper levels of the Bollinger Bands. On the daily, however, on the daily charts, the Bollinger Bands have tightened up, and that's due to the dips that were taking place. So we had a retracement here on November 24th, when basically after a good month's run, Bitcoin finally retraced, and we saw a pullback of about 9% that was here. And then this is when the Bollinger Bands began to tighten up. Actually, they began tightening up right here on the signal of this massive sell candle and volume candle. And by looking at the money flow, I would say that we're hitting a crescendo here. This is a peak, and I would say that we're going to see a pullback somewhat similar. If you notice right here, we had a similar scenario right here, a drop in volume, and the price was hitting a peak. It's a similar move over here. We've got a drop in the volume here, and price is reaching a pretty high level. It's almost at the similar level as it was back then right here. And so I could see as this, and we can see the beginnings of pullback here. So I could see this cascading downwards, and we could see more money moving out, or maybe a similar situation to this here. That could possibly be. This was precisely the pullback in January of 2024. Right here we saw a retracement. So this would have been a retracement of about 20%. So I think we could possibly still see that here. So my prediction was that Bitcoin would go up to about 105, 107. And that was based off Gareth Soloway's analysis. And we've only hit $103,000 on Bitcoin. So I think we still have some legs. So we could see a push to 107, 105 somewhere, once again, to hit the top of the parallel channel here before a massive retracement, or before a serious dip. Some things that are going to push Bitcoin forward are things like this MicroStrategy set to join Nasdaq 100, a landmark moment for Bitcoin linked stocks. MicroStrategy joining Nasdaq 100 is huge because it forces every individual or pension plan with QQQ in their portfolio to buy MicroStrategy automatically if it's included in the index, which means that everyone will be buying Bitcoin whether they like it or not, because when you buy MicroStrategy out of necessity, if you're forced into it, then obviously MicroStrategy holds Bitcoin, so everybody's going to be buying Bitcoin. So that's a massive push for Bitcoin, and clearly the stock prices for MicroStrategy are going to skyrocket. According to Balkunas, MicroStrategy is projected to have a 0.47% weight in the Nasdaq 100, making in the 40th largest holdings. This adjustment would integrate MicroStrategy into exchange trading funds, ETFs, that track the index, such as the Invesco QQQ Trust, which boasts an impressive 322 billion in assets under management. Interestingly, Moderna is expected to be removed from the index to accommodate MicroStrategy, which is interesting indeed. So we've had Bitcoin close right now, the highest daily close ever, when Bitcoin hit $101 right here. That's on this candle, I guess. Additional news: Andrew Sorrell, Alabama's Auditor General, says yes to state strategic Bitcoin reserve. There is some push against that. Not all states are in favor. A lot of people are questioning the decisions proposed by Trump, and whether they will come to fruition once Trump is in office is another story. But not everybody agrees with it. But this particular dude is agreeing with it. Alabama State Auditor General Andrew Sorrell is fully behind the idea of establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Sorrell believes this would eventually drive more businesses and investment to Alabama, as a crypto-friendly state. The US government currently holds 207,000 Bitcoin. I think that's not dollars. 207,000 Bitcoin worth 20 billion, representing approximately 1% of the world's total Bitcoin supply. Bitcoin reclaims 101,000 as inflation hits 2.7% in November. Outlook remains bullish, says analyst. Gareth Salloway does issue a warning. CPI data comes out in line with expectations at 0.3% month-over-month and 2.7% year-over-year. Markets are rallying as if this is good news, but most investors not realizing this is still higher inflation than last month as we creep back to 3%. Inflation is not great because that means the prices will rise quite possibly, which means again another dip in the market because inflation is scary. And when that happens, when there is an announcement of increased inflation, the markets dip. So that's something to keep in mind. Goldman Sachs wants to invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum, according to Sheldon on the Moon Show, was a better bet against Bitcoin, a better investment than Bitcoin. And I guess he's basing that on the possibility that Ethereum has a more legroom to move into. Ethereum as an ecosystem provides a lot more possibilities for passive income through staking, liquidity pools, and things like that. So if you are an Ethereum holder and if you got a whack of it, then your possibilities for staking, for having a passive income based off of Ethereum are a little bit better because Ethereum is such a large and broad ecosystem that that's possible for you to, like I said, stake, invest, and farm Ethereum in exchange for a bunch of other tokens. However, do not forget the issue of impermanent loss, which is the diminishing value or the diminishing return, diminishing value of the tokens that you stake. When you stake anything or when you have liquidity pools, be careful because liquidity pools are created on par with another token that is being staked. And so when the value of one goes up, the other one drops. So if you invested, for example, $100 and you have in exchange for that you $100 USDT, let's say $50 USDT and $50 of another token. If the value of the token goes up, your value of USDT will go down and vice versa. If the value of the token goes down, your value of USDT will go up. So you make fees based on the trading that is occurring, but the value of each token that you've invested into will vary depending on the price that the token finds itself in. So before you start throwing money into liquidity pools, and just be aware of the fact that you could lose a little bit of, or you could lose a lot more of your Ethereum than you're planning on. So I think the best idea is to just hold, and I know some people do stake and do have liquidity pools, and while it's worth it, you have to be aware of these things, that it's possible to lose some cash while doing so. Goldman Sachs is eyeing Bitcoin and Ethereum market. CEO David Solomon said the Wall Street firm is ready to evaluate its entry, but only if regulators clear the path. Solomon made the statement during the Reuters event on Tuesday. So this can only happen, I guess, if once Trump's office takes place and all the regulatory proposals are put into effect. And so even then, that's probably going to take some time. Solomon also discussed expectations of a rebound in mergers and acquisitions. He said deal making in MA and equity markets might exceed the 10-year average by 2025. Here's the kicker with everything. Trump's proposed tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico could push US inflation higher, complicating the Federal Reserve's plans for rate cuts in 2025. And this is something that nobody's talking about because nobody's willing to talk about it, because everybody's bullish. Everybody's looking at the price tags of Bitcoin to $1 million, which may or may not happen. And I don't think that will happen. But this is something that people, I think, do not keep in mind. Tariffs that Trump is talking about, because Trump is very much of the mind that the USA is paying a lot more for, countries across the globe than they are receiving in return. And so now his goal is to impose tariffs on different countries, on different nations. And from what I understand, Asia is maybe one of the most affected regions by these tariffs. and inflation, while inflation will hit hard certain areas of the world, the USA will not be untouched. And so this is what we're looking at. So if inflation does continue to increase, everybody thinks that January is going to be the gold month when Trump steps into the office, and you know, Bitcoin's going to pump and crypto is going to pump. But just like with the prices, we don't know. And from my experience in the past cycles, the professed $100,000 that was, you know, everybody was talking about, it never solidified. We came close, we came very close. Bitcoin hit $68,000, but I mean, that was a far cry from the 100,000 that everybody was talking about. It was actually 47% shy of the 100,000 that everybody was talking about, even Plan B. Although looking at this chart here, the projection of 100,000 Bitcoin was never to solidify in 2023. That was right here. It was supposed to cap out at about $50,000 or $60,000. So this was spot on. Pastor charged in 6 million crypto fraud scheme that targeted church members. Even the church is not safe from greed. Wow. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission filed a lawsuit against Francier Obando Pinillo on Tuesday, accusing the former pastor of orchestrating a multi-level marketing scheme that allegedly took at least 5.9 million in cash and digital asset for a fake Solana-fi platform. Wow. Promising investors they could earn up to 34.9% monthly through a so-called leverage staking platform. Pinillo allegedly targeted unsophisticated investors, including Spanish-speaking members of a Washington-based church, according to a complaint filed by the CFTC. Instead, Pinillo allegedly pocketed money from 1,500 unwitting investors, made false statements about trading Bitcoin on their behalf, and later claimed that investors' funds were lost in FTX bankruptcy. What? Of the money he raised, Pinillo allegedly sent 4 million worth of digital assets to 23 private digital wallets that prosecutors believe are in Colombia. Interesting story, man. People are really out of the loop. This is why it's important to stay abreast of crypto, because there's so many scams, and FTX happened so long ago, and now he's still claiming that this is relevant. That's the scoop for today. That's the news. Make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Do consider joining the channel, becoming a member on it, become a crypto cat or crypto kitten, and help support the channel and the content I create. A lot of you don't subscribe, so please remember to do that. That's much appreciated. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear a conversation, because some people complain that my videos don't stir up conversation when they should. So do that, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Enjoy your Thursday. See you on Friday. Peace.